All right, let's get straight to it. Now, I want to be crystal clear. What we're about to discuss isn't some new age prophecy or a spiritual prediction. This is a cold, hard economic simulation. We're looking at a scenario where the very concepts of labor and capital, the pillars of our world, get completely torn down.
So let me ask you something, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do you actually believe your job is secure? You know, that expensive degree you got, your creative talent, all those specialized skills you've spent years building, do you really think that makes you safe? That AI is just some fancy tool that could never, ever replace a brilliant human mind like yours?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's time to ditch that optimism. Seriously, that way of thinking, it's not a strength, it's a liability. It's based on a world that's about to disappear. And here's the kicker. The very things you think are your armor, they're actually the target.
So let's dive into our first section, the day capitalism ends 2026 and how AGI will dismantle our economic reality. The bottom line is this. We are standing at the single biggest turning point in the history of humanity. This isn't just me saying this. You've got people like Elon Musk screaming it from the rooftops. The moment artificial general intelligence, or AGI, arrives, it's game over for the economy as we know it. A total collapse.
And look, don't fool yourself into thinking this is some distant sci-fi fantasy. The timeline we're looking at is 2026. Yeah, you heard me right. Not 2050, not 2040, 2026. That is practically tomorrow. The clock is ticking, and it's ticking fast.
Now, we need to be really clear about what we mean by AGI. This is not the AI you're playing with right now, the one that writes a decent email or makes a funny picture. No. AGI is a completely different animal. It's a system with the intelligence of a human being, one that can learn, understand, and solve any problem a person can.
Which brings us to Section 2, Disappearing Elites, End of Brain Work. This is where we talk about why high-income professionals are actually the most at risk. And this, right here, is probably the most shocking part of this whole thing. Look, the last big automation wave, it was all about muscle. Factory jobs. This time, it's coming for your brain. And guess who's standing in the crosshairs? The so-called elites, the knowledge workers.
It's a total flip of the script. In the past, automation replaced physical labor. Think factory workers, manual tasks. That's old news. The future is about replacing brain labor. We're talking about analysts, creators, strategists. The target isn't your hands anymore, it's your head.
And let's get real for a second. We're talking about advertising copywriters, medical diagnoses, legal analysis, financial modeling, strategic consulting. Are these low-skilled jobs? Heck no. These are the jobs of the best and brightest, the people with six-figure salaries. And AGI is going to do every single one of them better, faster, and way, way cheaper than any human possibly could.
So here's the really brutal truth. Your high salary and your fancy education, they're not assets anymore. They're liabilities. Everything you thought made you valuable, your degree, your years of experience, that just makes you a bigger, more expensive target. From a purely cold economic perspective, you are an inefficient process, and AI is coming to optimize you right out of a job.
Okay, Section 3, Survive the Death Valley. This is all about how to get through that chaotic gap between the old world and the new. Now, this whole change isn't going to be a smooth ride. It's not going to be neat and tidy. There's going to be a period of pure chaos, a gap. And let me tell you, that gap is the most dangerous part of this whole journey. We call this period the Death Valley. Picture it. Mass unemployment. Jobs are just gone. But the safety net, things like universal basic income, isn't there yet. It's a time of just maximum chaos. And getting through it alive, it's going to take a whole new set of skills.
So how do you survive this? I mean, really, what do you do when the career you spent your life building just evaporates? When the money stops coming in, how do you even function in a world where everything you thought you were is suddenly obsolete?
Now, you're probably thinking the key is money, right? A huge savings account. But that's old world thinking. Don't get me wrong, cash will help, but it's not the real key. It's not what's actually going to get you through the death valley.
No, the real key is your ability to abandon your pride. That's it. It's all psychological. The person who's hung up on, I used to be a director or I was a top consultant, they're going to get crushed. The ones who survive, they're the ones who can swallow their pride, gratefully accept help, and just adapt without letting their ego get in the way.
All right, Section 4. The new currency is credit. Let's talk about how to build wealth in this post-capitalist world. So if good old-fashioned money isn't the most important thing anymore, what is?
Well, the entire economy is going to be built around a totally new kind of value, a kind of currency that AI literally cannot create.
And that new currency is credit. I don't mean a credit score. I mean your human value. The stuff AI can't replicate. Your kindness, your trustworthiness, the joy you bring to other people. Are you a good person to have around? That is what wealth is going to mean.
So how do you start building up this credit right now? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. 1, be kind to others, genuinely. 2, be someone who's actually fun to be around. And 3, build a real network of friends you can count on when things get tough. It's time to invest in people, not just stocks.
Think about it. Your strongest insurance policy isn't in a folder somewhere. It's a friend you can call when you're in real trouble and ask for help. That's it. That's the ultimate safety net. That human connection is everything.
Okay, final section. It's not despair, it's liberation. Let's reframe this whole thing as a historic opportunity. Look, I get it. Everything I've just laid out sounds absolutely terrifying. But I need you to try and see it from a different angle. This isn't just an ending, it's a beginning.
This is humanity's Emancipation Proclamation. I mean, think about what this really means. We are about to be freed from a system that has chained us to jobs we hate just so we can pay the bills. For the first time in all of human history, we won't have to work to live.
Now, don't get me wrong. The storm of this transition is going to be fierce. It's going to be tough, but paradise is waiting on the other side. A world where you're actually free to do what you love, to connect with people, to create, to simply live without that constant pressure of making money. It's a future we've only dreamed of.
So, the real question isn't if this is going to happen. It's, are you ready for the world to change forever? Are you really prepared? Not just with your bank account, but in your head and in your heart. Are you building the mental toughness and the community you'll need to get through this?
Fasten your seatbelts, because this ride is about to get started.